she say?
I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 3. I've decided to do this one on dating because, really, dating's fucking terrible. It's a mess. It's tough to do. In today's world, there's so much going on. There's chaos in every sense of the word dating. My Instagram feed, my TikTok feed, all of my feeds are full of how terrible dating is. I've seen maps where people are pinpointing their location and posting it and going, this is why I'm single, and referencing because the city they live in. I've seen different things where people are posting how terrible the dating scene is in their city. And these are some major cities. I mean, I'm talking about Denver, Colorado, Austin, Texas, Los Angeles, California, Florida. I mean, some of these places are nuts. Like, you wouldn't think the dating scene in Denver, California, LA specifically, Austin, Texas, Dallas, Texas, you wouldn't think those are terrible dating scenes. Those are massive cities with lots of people, and they're terrible. So we're gonna dive in deep on dating and the things that people that I've heard tell me that work and don't work, and want to get your thoughts on what you do and what you think works. Is it the dating app? Is it going and hitting the bars every weekend and meeting someone there? What is it? Tell me. Let's dive in. So is it a dating app? Is it Tinder? Is it Hinge? Is it Raya? Go fuck yourself, Raya. Is it, hell, I don't even know what dating apps there are these days. Is it one of those? Let's dive in on that. Tell me about it. What have you used? What dating app have you used that you've had success? And what dating app have you used that's been absolute shit? Because I'm curious on both sides, and I'm sure all of the people that are listening here and everyone in the world that's a part of this crazy dating scene that's single, trying to figure it out, would like to know. I know I sure as hell would like to know. For me personally, I've done the Tinder thing. I've done it recently. It's terrible. There's nothing there. To me, it feels like there's a lot of bots on there. There's not a lot of real people. For whatever reason, their algorithm seems to just kind of pinpoint you wherever the hell they want to, and listens to nothing about the parameters you set, in terms of location or whatever. It's kind of crazy how terrible it is. Hinge is another one. Hinge is not as terrible as some of the others for sure. There's definitely a lot more action going on that platform, on that app. There's a lot more real people. It seems to match you better. But even then, it's like I don't know that it's, again, quality people. It's kind of all over the place. Another algorithm one that doesn't seem to have it down. Better for sure, but not the best. Raya, fuck Raya. And the reason I say that is I've been on Raya. Let me back up. If you don't know what Raya is a dating app where you have to be approved. You apply, you get approved, you pay a monthly fee, you run with it, right? The other dating apps, you don't need the approval process. So I've been on the wait list for Raya for 4.5 fucking years, which is insane. I don't give a shit that you don't approve me. That's not the point here. The point is that any female, nothing against females, but for the point I'm trying to make, any female that applies to Raya immediately gets it. Immediately accepted within, if not literally immediately, within hours or within days. Accepted. Every female you can imagine is on that platform. Okay, let's go. Let's move over to the men now. I've seen some goofy ass men. You know who you are. I've seen some goofy ass men that don't meet the criteria, et cetera, because there is criteria to it. that have gotten it in days or weeks at best. And I mean, weeks is even dramatic in some instances, and plenty of them. I mean, 50 plus people, 100 probably, if I include the women that I know that have applied and gotten on, and I don't think a single person waited longer than 2 weeks. I don't think there's anybody out of those 100 people that have waited longer than 2 weeks. Meanwhile, I've been on the fucking thing for 4.5 years and keep getting waitlisted. And I even, at one point, because I gave a shit enough to care, about 2 years ago or something like that, I went in and tried to figure out how to get off the wait list, and it said delete the profile, reapply, whatever. So you can't just delete the profile. You had to, I wrote in and said, hey, can you guys remove me from it, like it had said, and then I just reapplied. There's no one to talk to on this app. You can never get a hold of anyone. In 4.5 years, I've heard one response, and that was the one time that I asked to be removed from the app. They're like, yeah, sure, here you go, removed. Okay. And I explained the situation. I explained everything. I showed the proof, how long I've been waiting on the wait list, and very first initial email. And nothing. Reapplied, resubmitted everything, meet all the criteria, have a bunch of referrals, people that are on it that know me, you name it. Still can't get on. So go fuck yourself, Raya. And if you're on Raya, congratulations, because I've heard great things about at least the algorithm matching you with people. I know plenty of dudes that are on there that are just constantly meeting people. Now, of course, it's fucking, there's one clown that I know that's on there all the time that literally uses it just as like a pen pal thing. And this guy meets women, probably 5 a week and just wastes their time. Never has any intentions. I mean, and the reason I'm saying this is because I watched him do it. I've seen him do it for well over a year and a half. And he's literally never dated the same person more than 2 or 3 times. And it's a pen pal thing for him. So it's kind of a waste. But anyways, do the dating apps work for you? If they do, what dating app are you on? And if they don't work for you, what dating apps have you tried that are just absolute dog shit? Let me know in the comments. I'm curious. Another avenue I've heard, and I've heard it recently, there's this influencer I follow on TikTok, Morgan Rue out of Colorado. Super cool chick. Rad vibe. Her claim to fame, kind of, if you will, or her influence is, she goes out, she parties, she does her thing, and she comes back and she basically just sits in front of the camera and tells about the stories of dating, of partying with friends, of different interactions at bars and being hit on and all the things. And it's really entertaining. She's super massive because of it. And she's got her own plenty of horror stories that have come out of it in terms of dating, or even just being hit on at bars or gyms or weird scenarios like we know people do, which 2025, almost 2026, I don't know why people are still hitting on people at the gym. It's fucking weird. Stop doing it. Anyways, recently, because she's been through the ringer with the dating scene, she posted about a matchmaker, which I was like, holy shit, like, we're going way backwards here for matchmakers. I didn't even know that was still a thing, but apparently it's a very big thing. And she recently got hooked up with a matchmaker that went through her entire profile and criteria and kind of, who she is and what she would like to date and what her future goals are and what she would like out of a relationship, etc. And put her on, I think, set her up with a few different dates. I don't even know if she made it through the dates. I think her very first one, it was like amazing. So she goes on the date and she comes back and she's telling the story, and it's on TikTok if you want to go check it out. Morgan Rue, I think it's MorganRoos. Don't quote me, but I'll tag it below. And she goes on this date with this guy, and she's like, it's the most perfect date I've had in probably 5+ years, just in terms of being matched with the right person, somebody that was there, that was quality, that was actually there to actually date, that wanted to go on a date and actually have a meaningful conversation and see if it led somewhere, as opposed to these dates you go on where the person doesn't really want to be there. From the women's perspective that I've heard plenty of times, like the dude's just there to get sex. Or they're just on the men's perspective, the women are there just to kind of get a free meal and keep building their Rolodex, and there's no real intention behind it. I mean, I've heard horror stories on both sides. It's insane, and I personally have been out with some women that just you could tell, you could see what they're about, whatever. So I'm curious, have you heard of this? To me, it's a new thing. I didn't even know. And listen, I'm newly back in the dating scene, the last couple of months. So it's maybe I'm just behind the curve here. But is it a thing? Is the matchmaking thing a play? Like, are you matchmaking? Have you tried matchmaking? Pros and cons? Let us know. I'm curious. I'm really interested in knowing if it's a thing. I mean, Morgan said it is, and I believe her. She's a trusty person. Sounds like a cool thing. Let me know. I'm curious what that looks like, what that sounds like, and if it works. Another thing on the dating thing is like, how many people are out there actually really looking for real meaningful relationships? And the reason I ask is because I feel like the people that I've met personally on dates, the people that buddies have met, that some of my friends that are girls that have met, like across the board. So it's not just a men's perspective, but women's perspective, men's perspective. It seems like the dating scene is so flooded by people that just don't give a fuck. Again, they're out there for a free meal. They're out there for the entertainment. They're out there. Hell, I read today that there was this lady that was homeless because she didn't want to have her own place, and she literally went on a date every night, or if the date went well and she was able to do a couple nights, purposely had the date go a certain way so that she could spend the night, and spent the night with these dudes in order to not have rent or a mortgage. I mean, she literally purposely dated in order to have a roof over her head for, gosh, I think it said several years, and I forget, so don't quote me, but that's kind of crazy. That's kind of nuts, and it goes right into my entire point of intention on, in your dating scene. Like, are you intentionally dating to find your person, or are you just dating just to date? Are you doing it for sex? Because we know there's plenty of dudes out there that are doing it for sex. Hell, I'm sure there's women too. Are you doing it for the free meal? Because I've heard that from plenty of people. Are you doing it for a roof over your head? Are you doing it for the gifts? I mean, hell, we've all seen some of the shows that are out. The Tender Swindler, I think, is one of them, and it's a crazy story. If you haven't heard of it, or if you haven't seen it, go watch the damn thing. It's actually kind of entertaining in the craziest way, because it's super sad, but it's all about Tinder, and it's all about this person matching with all these different people, carrying on conversations, getting them to want a date with them. They eventually go on the date. They do their thing. They hook up. I think even in some cases, and I haven't seen it in a minute, so maybe I'm butchering it, but the Tender Swindler, just go see it. In some cases, and you think you're dating this person one-on-one, and this person's over here dating 15 other people, and you're basically, you're in this full-blown relationship, and you're having holidays, and you're having birthdays, and you're gifting them things, and this person is asking you for favors, and you're doing it. Well, lo and behold, they're doing it to 15 other people, so they're just constantly getting free gifts. And I know there's several shows out there that are kind of very similar, so I might be mixing the two or blurring several of them, but there was another one I just watched that was kind of crazy, where this dude created a company, and he owned land like out in the middle of nowhere. He owned like a farm, and he would date these women and build the trust and gain the trust of these women in order to eventually get the nerve to ask them for a loan, or hey, I haven't I have this deal going on, and this new investor's coming in, and we're going to expand. I think he claimed to be a doctor, and the land was like a rehab center of some sort. So the girlfriends, because they don't ever go to the farm. They don't go to the rehab center. It's the job, right? So he always has an excuse. There's no reason to go out there. So they're in a full-blown relationship with this person. They've never been to their job, which is, I guess that's fairly normal for a lot of people. You don't go to your significant other's job and, interact there. So they thought, no big deal. This guy owns a rehab center. That's amazing work he's doing. He's a doctor. And, eventually asked them for loans here and there to get, to get the new equipment he needs, or to rehab this portion of it because it's going to expand the business and all the things. And it's all fake. The land is real. The company looks to be real on the surface, but there really is no rehab center. There's been 0 rehabs of the 10 years that he's been collecting money from different girlfriends. It's at a certain point when they started to look into this, when the girlfriends started to get wise and look into this, or potential clients, I think, were looking into this or investors had looked into this that had invested money. They found that the companies appeared to be real, the land appeared to be real, but there was lo and behold, there was no rehab whatsoever. It wasn't even, it was like a house on a farm, and in some cases, people didn't even know it existed. They couldn't find it, and then another pieces and episodes they revealed, oh no, it's right there. There it is, right there. And this, so the reason, or the way that this guy was able to continue on and to get it to last so long is that he would end the relationship with these women and then just run away. Like, he would just ghost them and move on. And let's say that for the sake of the story, the farm was in outside of Denver, let's say, and this guy had his whole life and his main house, let's say, it was in Florida. So, he owns the business. He doesn't work there every day. So it's a common thing for him not to show that he goes to this place every day. Right. So he tells these women, hey, yeah, we're rebuilding. We're doing this. We're doing that. Well, he's in Florida living his whole life with these women in Florida. When he breaks up with them, he just simply leaves Florida or leaves the town and goes to a different town. And they don't know. And they don't have the real information on where this farm actually is. They don't actually know that it actually does exist outside of Denver. They think it's in Idaho or Utah or wherever outside upstate New York. They think it's wherever he told them. Well, it is a real place, and it was a real place, and he just ghosted him. He moved on to different places, and eventually it caught up to him, and they started to get more and more information. He hired an assistant, and I think that might have been where his downfall was, because the assistant had to be in the mix. She was in the book. She was in the day-to-day. She was the one booking different things, holding different meetings for investors, around the schedule. So she's the one that had kind of a lot of the information about the property, about what was being done at the property, about the construction that was being done, about the investments that were coming in, the amount of money, all those things. So when the girlfriend that eventually kind of unfolded this whole thing started to dive in, she, I believe, found the assistant who was no longer working for the guy, found her on like LinkedIn or Facebook or something, and it had said, I want to say whatever. I think let's just say it was Facebook. She had her profile set up to say on Facebook that she was employed by that company name, and so the girlfriend kind of investigatively took her steps and got to the point of getting a hold of the assistant and saying, hey, listen, here's all the information I have. You were his assistant for years based on your page. Let's talk. And so eventually girlfriend 1 talked to the assistant, put the story together. Then they got girlfriend 2 involved because the assistant remembered another person's name that he knew he was dating, and they were able to find her. So like all of a sudden there's like 10 people involved, and they unravel this story, and they eventually find several pictures of the farm. They have information where they think it's at based on what the assistant had in her Rolodex of she had stacks of papers from when she worked with this guy that she just kept, I guess. Eventually went to the place where they thought the farm was and found the farm. And the reason they found the farm is because they saw his car, the car that he had driven every day with each of these girlfriends that they knew. Like, oh my God, that's his car. So they started to do, kind of surveillance, if you will, and they eventually saw him on the property. So eventually, I think he goes to jail and is ordered to pay restitution to all these women. But it was a crazy fucking story, and goes right back into the dating scene about dating with intention, how chaotic and crazy dating is. Now I know that's very fucking extreme and super left field, but shit like that happens every day. The shit I'm talking about with how shitty the dating scene is far minor and less crazy than that. But same point. The dating scene is very tough. I think another thing for me personally too is like my job. And if you don't know what I do, if you haven't heard the podcast before or you don't follow me on socials, I protect celebrities for a living. So, doing that, you're with the biggest names in the world. I've worked for some of the biggest athletes. I've worked for some of the biggest actors, musicians, CEOs. I've worked for crazy amounts of people that the job would appear to be glamorous. And people go, oh my God, you work for, this celebrity. You must be friends with this celebrity. You must be hanging out with this celebrity. I see this celebrity on TMZ or one of the tabloids or People Magazine or whatever, and they're at this party or that party, or they're hanging out with this supermodel or that actress or that musician, and you must have been sitting right there on the couch with them, or you must have been sitting, standing next to them at that club, hanging out with them and flirting with these girls. And it's, so my point to the story is like they over glamorize my job. And listen, I completely sympathize and I completely understand. Yes, there are lots of parts that are glamorous about the job. There has to be trust. There of course there's supermodels around. Of course that it can very much go sideways, but that's, take out the name supermodel, take out the name celebrity, call it a hot chick and a hot guy. That shit happens every day in any fucking job. It happens every day if you're a realtor. It happens every day if you're an accountant. It happens every day if you sell cars. You interact with people every fucking day. And truly, like, in scenarios where you work with the same people, if you go to a 9-to-5 office every day and you're working with the same, guy every single day, or the same woman every single day, or there's a new hire and they're hot or they're cute, whatever, that shit could happen. That shit happens. It's not even that it could happen. It happens every day in environments of the workplace. And cool, whatever, it's no big deal. But if you're in a relationship, and to my point is, the women that I've met that help people from my past that I've dated that have come back, and typically that's where I normally hear it from is and actually the reason I brought it up, because a woman recently told me this. She's like, hey, I don't think we worked in the past because I was always insecure about your job. And I'm like, well, explain that. And obviously I had an idea of what she was talking about, but I wanted to hear it out of her own mouth, and I wanted to fully understand and try and wrap my head around what she was thinking, how she was feeling, all the things, so that I can bring myself down to a level to be able to comprehend it and dissect it and understand it, and then be able to come to her and be like, okay, here's what the resolve is, or here's how I think we can sort this out. Obviously, I wasn't doing that with her. It was just an ex that brought it up and just wanted to talk out of nowhere. But her thing is that it was tough for me to feel like I'm on the same level as you. First of all, you have a crazy career that you've been doing almost 20 years, and you work for celebrities. You travel, you're in these exotic countries, you go to these exotic events, if you will, you're on red carpets, you're at music venues all the time, you're on movie sets all the time, whatever. And so I was like, okay, I get that, I understand that, and then I just explained the same thing I just went over with you guys, is like, take away the fact that they're a celebrity, and I know that amplifies it, so I'm not negating that, but take away the fact that they're a celebrity, and take away the fact that they have supermodel in front of their name. That's just a good-looking man and a good-looking woman. What's the difference in you going to your job every day and you telling me about all the fucking horror stories in the office of of, Sally over here that's married and flirting with fucking Mike that's over in another department. What's the difference? There is no difference. I was in a relationship, where I dated someone within the industry, and she was over here cheating, talking to another guy in the industry. So it's like, it doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. It doesn't matter what the job is. It's gonna, if you want to cheat, you can cheat. If you want to be a shitty person, you can be a shitty person. But at the end of the day, it's about trust. And for my industry, and to go bring it back to me, because I'm not negating what I'm trying to say here, is I will go out of my way to make you feel comfortable with what I do, right? I can't bring you to work every day. I can't bring you to a movie set. I can't bring you on a red carpet. I can't bring you around to meet, certain people or do certain things. But you'll know the work environment. You'll know who I work with. You'll know the scenario. If we're in a good, healthy relationship, the communication is there. Hey, babe, I'm going here. Hey, babe, I have this travel coming up. Here's what we're doing. Whatever. We're on the phone every day. We're texting every day. That's just a relationship. That's what you do. It's the same thing if the roles were reversed. Hey, I have a work trip I'm going to do a conference for. Hey, I'm going to stay late at the office. Hey, we have a work dinner. I mean, listen, every one of those things I just mentioned in the regular world, people are fucking cheating every single day. So, again, it's a shitty fucking world we live in. Dating is not intentional anymore. And it's tough, listen, and it sounds like I'm sitting here griping and bitching about being single and how shitty the dating scene is. And yes, there's plenty of positives that can come out of it. There are great people out there that you can date. I have just yet to find them. And my reach, each way, women and men, friends, people that I'm in business with, family, friends of friends, people on social media, people I don't even know that I read shit about. The conclusion is the same. The dating scene today sucks. When I started this episode at the very beginning, I was telling you how major cities are popping up as some of the shittiest places to date, because there's no intentions in dating to find love. There's no intentions in dating to find your partner and your person. And not to say that there isn't, but there's not. It feels like there's just not. You know what I mean? There's 99.9% that are there to just date and just to date. Nothing great there. So again, to circle back this entire thing. What city do you live in? If you live in a major city, hell, fuck. If you live in a little tiny town and the dating scene's incredible, because obviously we're gonna assume it's shit because it's a little tiny town. But if it's incredible, tell me about it. I'm curious to know if it's a major city you live in and it's great or not great. Curious to know. Matchmaking, is that a thing? Is that back? Did it come full circle? Are we using matchmakers now to find love and a partner and marriage? I think the thing with dating profiles on these dating apps is that you get the option to turn shit on and turn shit off, or I think you even get the option to even answer a question. I almost feel like, and tell me if I'm wrong, tell me if you disagree with this, because I'm curious to know, because this is my personal opinion. I feel like you shouldn't have the option to turn something off or to not have it in your profile. Like you can click a button and it just won't show in your profile. But I think your profile should be stacked. I think it should say if you have kids. I think it should give a little bit of thing there, because here's the thing, people won't date you and people won't date me because I have kids, but little do they know I don't have toddlers, I don't have little kids. I mean, hell, one of my kids is an adult now. He just turned 18, doesn't even live in the house or the estate. He's off to college. My one kid that's left is almost 16 years old, drives on her own soon, and is a teenager and wants nothing to do with her parents. She's out hanging out with her friends and her boyfriend and doing her thing. So it's far different than someone that has toddlers that, you're going to be crazy a part of, you're going to be a part of their life. It's a whole different thing, So I think saying that you have kids is a criteria. I think, giving the ages are kind of what a little bit of what the custody's like. So this person that's looking at your profile can say, oh, well, I'm not going to not date them, or I'm not going to date them because they have kids. Maybe I'll give them a shot because they do have older kids. They have teenagers. If this person doesn't want kids, or if someone's looking for someone that because they want to be a parent and they want to start their life and they don't mind somebody that has kids, show that you have little kids. That's you know what I mean. Like, people are going to be a part of that. You know what I mean. So, say if you smoke, say if you drink, say if you like a certain hobby, or kind of give it all. The whole profile should list who you are as a person and what your life is like. You know what I mean? It's that simple, because then, to me it is, at least, because then when I look at this profile, I see every single thing, and if there's something in there that doesn't jive with what I'm looking for, then I just won't click on that person. But if there's great little hot spots that they're putting out, and they're given the great pieces of that they want to tell you, well, then you're going to click on them. You're going to waste your time with 50 fucking people because it doesn't say that they have kids in their profile. It doesn't say that, and if you're a person that doesn't want to date kids, it doesn't say that they drink, and you don't want to be with someone that drinks because you're sober, because you just don't drink, or whatever the scenario is. Like, if it fucking said it, it's easy. It says it doesn't match with me, I don't click yes. It says it matches with me, I click yes. It's that simple. But we're able to turn this shit on and off and give bits and pieces of what the fuck we want to say and do and show whatever. It's just a waste of fucking time. Like, let's build a fucking app that shows exactly who the fuck everybody is. Let's have it be real people. I think you should have to pay for it monthly, because if you're paying for it, you're intentional about what you want out of it. I think there should be some sort of fee involved, and I know there's fees in all of them, but or rather, I think actually a lot of them are free. But if you want to pay for the paid version, there's other benefits, whatever. I think it should cost money, period. If you want to date and you're going to date with intention, you're willing to pay for it. If you're going to date and not date with intention, maybe you're not willing to pay for it. So, anyways, that's my spiel on the dating apps. That's my 2 cents. One more thing, and to full circle this entire fucking episode, Love is Blind. And if you don't know what it is, look it up. It's exclusively on Netflix. I didn't know what the fuck it was until more recently. And more specifically, there's an episode, or rather, there's a season that's all around Denver. It's based on Denver. It's Denver people. It's filmed in Denver. It's a whole episode of Love is Blind Denver. It literally proves my fucking point about how shitty the dating scene is, and how tough the dating is in Denver. How, just all the things. I've not personally seen the entire thing, though I'm planning to watch it just out of curiosity's sake. But I have seen certain episodes. I've kind of picked and chosen and just to watch some of it, just to out of curiosity, but also just kind of for the knowledge. But the reason I decided to bring it up here, and one, because it's full circle. Again, it tells us how shitty the dating scene is. But two, I had a friend send an article to me today that just said that it was their worst season yet of matches. I guess the way the show works is you blindly match with this person initially, or you blindly put in 2 separate little pods, and you're able to communicate, but you can't see the person. Eventually, you find a person that you like and you're compatible with, and then I think you meet them. And at the end of the show, you're meant to get married. And apparently, this is the worst season yet. Everybody said they would. I think during the show, during the season, people said yes, they would get married, whatever. No one actually got married, and apparently, this is either the first time or just the shittiest set of ratings or whatever the scenario is. But it's comical to me. And again, I think that's the type of shit we're dealing with. People are on these shows just for fun. People are out there dating just for fun. I mean, fuck, there's a podcast that I just heard about where you literally go on dates on the podcast. You're literally at a two-top table having a meal. They choose one person to go on 3 dates. You're sitting at this table having a meal with this person. You have 10 minutes, and you're basically just like hammering each other with fucking questions. And to be honest, if you ask me, though they say it's real and raw, it's not. These fucking people are fed the questions. These people are fed topics to touch so that it sparks controversy. You know, there's religion, there's politics, there's other shit that's been brought up in this. And to be honest, like they're just baiting the other person. There was a viral clip that apparently went there was a clip that went viral rather because the person asked the other person about who they voted for. And it's just like, yes, that's important, very much so, I would say, but because your views on our line if you voted for different people, but it was such a bait thing. Like they were just, it's 10 minutes to ask the other person. Like it's kind of a fucking dumb concept if you ask me, because it's proving the point of like how shitty you're making dating, because you're allowing it to be a skeptical and you're purposely making it something that's like you're sabotaging it on purpose in order to get ratings, in order to have clickbait, in order for it to be a thing. And I think it's bullshit. But Love is Blind, Denver, go check it out. Apparently it was the worst one yet. I don't know for sure because I didn't watch it, but well, I do know for sure because I read the articles, but I didn't watch it fully, so I'm gonna dive in and finish watching that and check it out. But that's my 2 cents on dating. I'm really fucking curious what you all think. This is just one of many episodes on dating. I'll dive into my personal dating life and how great or chaotic that's been, because it's been both sides. We'll dive into more things. I'll have a few guests on. You know, I'll have a male guest for his perspective. I'll have a female guest for her perspective on dating. I'll have good and bad. Let's open this thing wide open, because I think it's a topic that is super important. I think it's a topic that's kind of fucking, it's just like, whatever. Like, yeah, you know, some people take it serious, some people don't. You know, let's dive into it in another episode and really dive in deep on certain pieces of it. But in the meantime, happy dating, good luck with the fucking apps, and maybe the matchmaker. That's it. Don't forget to stream all the major apps. You can stream us there, or you can watch our YouTube channel. This video will be on there on Wednesday. We'll drop this episode on Wednesday. Go check us out. Check out our platforms. If you're not following us yet, it's super helpful to us. We really appreciate all the love and support. Everything across the board is fucking everything, which is FKN everything, all one word, FKN everything, fucking everything. We love you all. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Good night.